Hey, what's up, gentlemen and ladies? Welcome back to another Final Fantasy discussion, and today I have a straight up just explanation video for you guys. I don't think that I've done one of these in a while, but I hope you guys enjoyed, as it is a topic that several people were curious on and had asked me in the past. It is kind of common knowledge nowadays, but it's still worth getting into just for the record, in my opinion. So today I'm basically going to be explaining to you guys why the game that was previously known as Final Fantasy Versus XIII eventually changed its name to what we now know as Final Fantasy XV, because there is several reasons why, actually. But before anything, we need to understand a little bit of backstory. I'm not going to get into too much detail because I've already made full videos on this topic, but basically Final Fantasy XV was a part of a sub-series within the Final Fantasy series called the Fabula Nova Crystallis, which consisted of Final Fantasy XIII, Final Fantasy Agito 13, which later turned into Type 0, and Final Fantasy Versus 13, which later turned into Final Fantasy 15, as we all know. The connections between these three games was basically more of a thematic one. They shared common rules with things like, Fal'Cie and l'Cie, a common mythology, which I went into in one of my videos, as well as the main aspect being that they were all centered on crystals, and that was actually the whole point of the FNC, which literally translates to the New Crystal Fables, to basically bring back crystals as a main theme in FF games. Now, several people think that the reason for the name change, or changes really, with Agito, was because Final Fantasy XV became disconnected from the Fabula Nova Crystallis, and while that is slightly true, there is more to it than people usually go into, as big aspects of the FNC and remnants from the Versus days do remain in 15 even to this day. However, we all know the story behind Final Fantasy XIII. The game initially came out, positive reviews through the roof, everyone liked it, Square greenlit the sequels, the end. However, the more and more people played it, the more people started to speak up about, them not liking it, and eventually it went on to become the most hated entry in the series. Fans nowadays have kind of warmed up to 13 and don't hate it as much anymore, but that initial reaction left a mark on Square Enix. Final Fantasy Agito 13 and Versus 13, though at the time both still very much in the FNC, were renamed due to marketing. People wouldn't really want to buy a game with the number 13 on the title, as, the FNC was not common knowledge to everyone back then, and it still isn't really, so they wouldn't have been sure on if this game was related to 13 or what exactly it had to do with it, so they decided to just change the names. Final Fantasy Agito 13 was changed into Final Fantasy Type 0, but of course the more interesting one that everybody came here for is Final Fantasy Versus 13, which was changed to Final Fantasy 15. A bold move by Square Enix. We might take this for granted now, but at the time, then director Tetsuya Nomura had been quoted for saying that Versus 13 could never be a main series game because of its drastically different combat and change of tradition. So no, for those of you saying that FF is turning into an action RPG series, you're kind of wrong by default. But why? How did this game go from being a spin-off to main series, and why exactly? Well, it could be because it was a big console game. I mean, put two and two together shows us that the game would have basically been as big as something like Final Fantasy Tactics, for example, in the original PS1. But FF Tactics could never be a main series game. It couldn't have been like Final Fantasy 7.5, for example, because it wasn't turn-based, right? Right? Well, at least not traditional turn-based. It was a strategy RPG in the same vein that 15 now is an action RPG instead of just action-adventure game. This change was something that Square took a huge risk on, but it might have been their only option, honestly. They lost a lot of money with 13 and the original 14, so putting a lot of effort into a side game that's not going to get much marketing and does nothing but take resources while they could have been working on a main series game is not a very good idea. Oh wait, sorry, I was thinking of Kingdom Hearts 3 there for a second. Jokes aside, Final Fantasy XV kind of needs to succeed, or Square Enix is in deep water. Not commercially, like the game is going to sell good, I can guarantee you that. At this point, I doubt it's possible for Final Fantasy XV to sell poorly, but I'm talking quality-wise. Square cannot have 3 commercial failures in a row, especially considering how much money and effort they put into 15 with the Uncovered event, the big news of the delay, and the fact that it's been basically all Square Enix can talk about for the past 2 years at this point. I'm just saying, Square, don't put all your eggs in one basket. You never know. But either way, that's all that I have for you guys today. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to blitz that like button, subscribe as always. Stay tuned for all things Final Fantasy!